Hello everyone and welcome to the University of California, Santa Barbara presentation. Hopefully you're falling in love with us on our text chat and now you have some questions. Well, we're here to answer them live. My name is Cuca Acosta. I'm the Associate Director for Admissions at the University of California, Santa Barbara. I'm also a gaucho. Oh yeah, baby. Alum, class of... Over the course of the next hour, we're going to talk about UCSB. We're going to focus a lot on the University of California application and how Santa Barbara is going to read that application. So please, please, please make sure you have your questions. You can use the Ask Question or the Q&A box to start asking those, and I'll be answering them throughout the course of my presentation. Let's get started. All right, big question. Where is UCSB? Located about 100 miles north of Los Angeles, Santa Barbara happens to be beautifully located on the coast of California. We happen to have about a third of our campus, which is oceanfront property. That's right, people. That blue stuff in the picture right there, that's not for show. Oh, that is the Pacific Ocean, and that's our campus. UC Santa Barbara, about a third of campus is also right next to the mountains. So we have, as my friends say, good feng shui. Northern mountains, southern water. So great luck for our students. Santa Barbara happens to be a very wonderful, embracing undergraduate campus. About 22,000 students total, so we're a medium-sized school in California, but about 19,000 undergraduates. That's right, about 19,000 undergraduates. Almost 90% of our student body is going to be just like you, a student coming out of high school or changing from another university to transfer in for their last 2 years. Santa Barbara promises to love you for 2 years if you're a transfer student, for 4 years if you're an incoming freshman. Oh my God, those questions are already coming in fast and furiously, so I'm really excited. Let's see what you have to say. So first question right off the bat is, can you talk about internships? I'm thinking about graduate school in the medical field. Okay. So some things to think about when it comes to the University of California, and some things to really note is that when it comes to UCSB and all the University of California campuses, we're actually one of the top feeders to medical schools in the United States, because the University of California and Santa Barbara specifically, we love our undergraduate students and we're teaching you theory. Who, what, where, when, why, how, right? We're asking you all these great questions in the classrooms. Doesn't matter what your major is. So if you're a history major, if you're a dance major, if you're a science major, if you're an engineer, if you're doing political science or communication, it doesn't matter. We're teaching you theory. And as we ask these questions in the classroom, guess what? Our faculty will be conducting research in order to find answers. In other words, we're going to do what you're going to do in medical school. Who's sick? Why'd they get sick? How long have they been sick? How do we fix them? We're giving you all of that foundation, that critical thinking, that problem solving in your undergraduate career, which is why you're really marketable to medical school. Now for Santa Barbara specifically, we do have a pre-med program. I'll highlight that in a few slides. So Santa Barbara happens to have what in our admissions process for undergraduate students at the freshman level, a very transparent grid. 50% of our academic review, 50% of our review will be academic in nature. And at Santa Barbara, that means we're going to be looking at your potential to be a good student on campus. So we're going to be looking at your GPA, a GPA that we calculate. That's right, I'm going to calculate it. It's not on your transcript. Oh, no, 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 no. The GPA is going to come from sophomore and junior year. And it's going to be from the A through G, those academic classes we're asking you to take. Math, history, English, science, art, language other than English. Now for the University of California, these A through G requirements, well, in California, every high school student knows about them. So for students outside of California, I do want to make sure you realize these A through G requirements are off of our website. So if you have any questions about the requirements, please ask us. Note that we'll be text chatting until 7 o'clock tonight, but you can always email us all those specific questions you have about the requirements. Okay, so academically, we're looking at your grades, we're looking at your classes, we're looking at also that fun Saturday exam. I know you guys wake up in the morning going, oh, can I take an SAT? And the answer is, of course you can. I actually need you to. In the admissions process, I want to see one exam. Now, you have the option between the SAT reasoning test or the ACT with writing. Did you hear that? With writing. Now, for the University of California admissions policy, you have to take one of these two exams if you're a freshman applicant, no later than December in your senior year. December, by the way, is the month after you submit the application. So when you take that test, you also send us official test scores. That's right, official test scores from the testing agency, be it College Board or ACT. Now, I know this costs money and you don't have a lot of money. So here's a hint. When it comes to the admissions process, if you send your official test scores to one campus, be it UCSB, be it Berkeley, Davis, LA, San Diego, any of my sister campuses, well, and you're also applying to me, we share them amongst ourselves. So please note that you don't have to send them to every UC campus, you just have to send them to one officially, and we'll share with the others. So, okay, you're doing the math in your head, right? If 50% of our admission is academic in nature, that means that 50% of our admission at Santa Barbara for freshman students is non-academic in nature. That's right. I'm going to be looking with my colleagues in the admissions office for students who can contribute to the diversity of our student body. Now, hold up, wait a minute. Diversity. Because we're a public school, we cannot use gender, and we cannot use ethnicity. So diversity is not the color of the skin. It happens to be about who you are and what you're going to do on my campus. That's right. Are you that leader in high school? Because I want you to be the leader on my campus. Are you that student who loves to travel? I want you to participate in my education abroad programs. Are you that student who really loves sports? I want you to think about my Division I club, intramural, or adventures programs. See how that diversity now comes into play? Now, I've heard this over and over again, that, quote, I have to be well-rounded. I have to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And oh, no, honey. It would be great if everybody was, but the truth is some of us should just never play sports in public. It is not pretty. Oh, no, no, no. And so we don't need you to be well-rounded. Instead, we want to create a well-rounded student body, students who will fill different niches on our campus to make us a really diverse and amazingly collaborative community. So for Santa Barbara, remember, we don't compare you to one another. We don't compare you to your best friend because really, think about it. Who's sitting in the classroom next to you? You guys could have the same exact classes, but your lives are not the same. When you go home, there's different structures, there's different conversations. And so why are you comparing yourselves? We won't do it. So in the admissions process, 50-50, that's a starting point. Wow, lots of questions have come up, so let's make sure that we keep going with some of those answers. So, is it your preferred major considered in admissions or after you're admitted to the university? All right. So, my dear friend, one thing to note is that within the application, we are going to ask you to select a major. Now, the University of California application, hopefully you guys have started this if you're a senior or if you're looking at transferring in next fall. Hopefully you've opened up the University of California application. Hopefully you saw that there are 9 sections to this application. 9 sections to this application. And every single one of these sections is going to be available to me. Now, with that in mind, I want to point out that the UC application, we ask you a lot. We're nosy because we're trying to figure out who you are and what you've done. We do not ask for transcripts when you submit your application. So for my high school students, you're going to be entering all of your math, history, English, science, art courses. For my transfer students, you're going to enter all of your college work, anything that's transferable in nature. You're going to self-report everything, and then we're going to do all of the audit checks. We're going to do the GPA calculation. We're going to make sure you're meeting your requirements for admission. And you're going to self-report everything in the application, including self-reporting which of the University of California Santa Barbara colleges have the right major for you, as well as you putting yourself into one of those majors. So let's describe our three colleges, shall we? So college number one is the College of Letters and Science. Because it's the largest college on my campus, I'll start with that one. The College of Letters and Science has about 92% of my student body. There are 80 programs within the College of Letters and Science, including about 40 minors. For the College of Letters and Science, I think of it as a liberal arts degree. About a third of your coursework is going to be electives, about a third of your coursework is going to be general education, and about a third of your coursework is going to be your major. So for students here, what you should note is that in the admissions process, I'm not going to look at, okay, who's going to be the good physics student versus who's going to be a good psychology student versus who's undeclared. That's too much work. Oh, no, 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 no. Because you're going to change your major 3.7 times before you graduate, so why bother? In the admissions process in the College of Letters and Science, we do not admit by major. We do not admit by major. One more time. We do not admit by major. So for those of you who really have no clue what you want to study, put undeclared with the knowledge that in the admissions office, it is not going to be a factor for your admission. But, oh, there's always fine print, people. So here's what you should know. For many of our students who have a science ambition or want to go pre-med, I'm going to encourage you to apply in a science field at UCSB. For freshmen, pick any of the science majors. They all have the same freshman year curriculum. It will allow you to get into science coursework as a freshman and tick off that general education curriculum for medical school, or it will allow you to stay on track for a four-year graduation if you're going to stay in a science major. You can change your major really easily in the College of Letters and Science from one program to the other. Okay. For my transfer students, there are some selective programs in the College of Engineering that will require very specific preparation for the major. I hope you guys will go onto our website to see those differences. Transfer students know that economics, and accounting, all of my biology programs will require very specific coursework for you to enroll. We will select by major for my transfer students in those areas, economics, and accounting, as well as biological sciences. Okay, so I see more questions. Ooh, there's a lot of questions. So Yomada was asking, is there a Greek life? And the answer is yes, there is a Greek life. About 12% of our students are in a Greek organization, so one of the 22 sororities or 18 fraternities. And then Carlos was asking, what is the GPA for the College of Engineering? Ah, good question, Carlos, but I don't have a GPA per se. So for one particular college, what I have is a minimum GPA for University of California admission. My freshman students in California will find that that GPA is a 3.0. My California students have that 3.0 again weighted with honors that are UC approved, advanced placement, international baccalaureate, or college transferable work. My freshmen outside of California applicants, your minimum GPA is a 3.4. 3.4 weighted, you can weight advanced placement, international baccalaureate, or college transferable coursework. For my transfer students, those selective programs might have a GPA minimum in that major. For example, if I'm economics, I believe it's a 275 in my economics, macroeconomics, and my calculus coursework. So there are very specific programs in that. Okay, but engineering. No, I'm not looking at engineering for a specific GPA minimum. Instead, what I want you to realize is that Santa Barbara does have a College of Engineering with 5 majors. 5 majors. Those 5 majors include chemical, electrical, mechanical, computer engineering, as well as computer science in the College of Engineering. For the College of Engineering at UC Santa Barbara, oh yeah, I'm going to be selecting by major, people. So you have to tell me which of the 5 programs you want to apply to. Which one of the 5 programs do you see yourself being a student for the next 4 years if you come in as a freshman, for the next 2 years if you come in as a transfer student? You will have to look at the 5 programs and decide which one's the right fit. Now, Santa Barbara, in our selection process for freshman students, what we're going to do is we're going to screen for math, and then we're going to look at math, and then I'm going to focus on math. Okay, you get it? Math. So as opposed to looking at a GPA total or as opposed to looking at, how pretty you are, I'm going to be looking at, okay, math coursework. Do I see at least pre-calculus in your senior year? I'd prefer calculus. I'm going to be looking at math grades. I'm going to be looking at math testing. For the College of Engineering, I'm going to recommend, not require, recommend the Math Level 2 SAT subject test. And within that, I'm hoping for 800. I'm not going to lie to you. I love 800s. They're pretty. I'd settle for something in the 700s. Again, the most competitive students are the ones who can show me that math proficiency. Now, when it comes to engineering, leaving the College of Engineering, if you've been admitted, oh, that's easy. That's very, very easy. Coming into the College of Engineering once you're already a student here, not that easy. Not really going to happen. I want to make sure you have that perfectly clear that in the admissions process, we will be selecting by major. Students who don't get admitted to engineering and have an alternate major, I'll read your application a second time to consider you for undeclared physics, something other than engineering. Okay, so I've talked about two of my colleges. The third college on the list is my smallest college. It's a really cool college. It's the College of Creative Studies. At Santa Barbara, the College of Creative Studies has about 380 students total. There are 7 programs, including art, biology, chemistry, computer science, mathematics, music composition, and physics. So the majors that I'm listing are the same majors that are offered in other colleges. So art is offered in letters and science as well. Computer science is offered in the College of Engineering as well. So what's the difference? Well, here's what's important to note. The College of Creative Studies was created and geared for the student who's intensely passionate, who has a very narrow focus for one field. The student who doesn't just want to be in the classroom learning about what's there, the person who wants to be involved in discovering new knowledge and moving that field forward. If that's you, then the College of Creative Studies will ask you to fill out a supplemental application. The supplemental application will be due the month after your UC application. Typically, it's due in December. That supplemental application is not read by the admissions office. I don't know anything about physics. Oh, no, no, no. It's read by faculty in the major you're applying to, because faculty are going to end up mentoring these students. That's right, we actually pair students with a faculty member for the 4 years they're here, for transfer students for their last 2 years that they're here. For the admissions process, we will be looking at these students, their first choice being creative studies. If they are not selected, we'll look at them in an alternate major or we'll modify them to undeclared. Okay, guys, I know you have questions. Let me keep going back and seeing if I can answer those. Jennifer asked, what's a pretty SAT score? So SAT, I love 2400s. I don't see that many of them, but I love them. That's a pretty score. But most of our students are in the 1900 range. Our SAT average for the class of 2014 was 1957. So hopefully that gives you an idea. But here's what I want you to realize. GPA, SAT score. They balance each other out, you guys. So the higher your GPA, the less pressure I could put on your SAT scores and vice versa. So just because I'm quoting a number doesn't mean it's the number that's the magic number for you. So beware. All right. Let's see, we've got more questions coming in. So I'm an international student from Hong Kong, and we don't calculate the GPA. If this is the case, what will be the alternative for me? So my international students should note that when you're applying to the University of California, I want you to tell me what your courses are as you see them on your transcript. So if you're taking Integrated Math 1-2, put Integrated Math 1-2 on the application. If you're on a 0 to 7, if you're on a 1 to 5, 0 to 100 scale, then you're going to give me that scale and then enter the grades as you earn them. So if you have a 92 in your integrated math, you're going to type in 92. I then calculate the grades and GPA for you. So no worry, I got you covered. We have a great group of international specialists, individuals who read international applications, so they've seen it all at this point, trust me. All right, so let's talk about the admissions process and a little bit about what we do. So specifically at Santa Barbara, what we're going to do in that comprehensive review, that 50% of our admission that's not academic, is we're going to take into consideration information about you during the 4 years of high school. During the 4 years of high school. during the 4 years of high school if you're a freshman applicant. For transfer students, I want to be very clear. My transfer applicants, I'm going to look at your grades, your units, and your preparation for your major. For my transfer students at UCSB, it's a numbers game. We're not looking at the extracurriculars. You still should share them because other colleges and other universities can use them, specifically other colleges for possible scholarships. So I don't want you to disadvantage yourself by omitting it. But at Santa Barbara, it's a numbers game for transfer students. Now, my freshmen, though, in your comprehensive review, I'm going to be focusing on 3 different sections with a fine-tooth comb, which means I'm going to really spend time trying to figure out what you've done and who you are. And that's because I'm looking at the About You section, Activities and Awards, and the Fun Personal Statement. I'm going to repeat this. We don't read letters of recommendation. We don't conduct interviews. We don't want your transcripts yet. What we're doing is we're trying to figure out who you are from a self-reported application. So let's start with the About You tab. In this section, you're going to set the context. Remember that word, context of your accomplishments by telling me things like your parents' income level. You're going to be telling me about your first language learned. For those of you who are going to be asking for a fee waiver, that's right, the University of California offers a fee waiver. 4 campuses for free for students who qualify. You'll fill out the income section. It's a mandatory for a fee waiver request. Otherwise, this section is technically optional. Now, I've heard it all. My mama makes $5 million a year and the private jet is a lot of fun. Are you going to hold it against me? Oh no, put me on that private jet. Let's go. I have no problems with students who can afford to travel the world. I also have no problems with students who make $5 a year and who try to figure out where is my next meal coming from. I'm not looking at your ability to pay when I read your application. Instead, these answers give me a context of what you were able to do with your resources. Now, I look at your context and then I go through and I ask, okay, so what did this student actually do? I know what was available to them, so what did they take advantage of? And the answer is hopefully something. It could be sports, it could be clubs, it could be community service. I want you to list it all, you guys. So for those of you who are asking, should I talk about that 2-day seminar that I went to? Yes. Should I talk about the fact that I play club and high school volleyball? Yes. Should I talk about Should I talk about the fact that I, happen to play violin, but I'm not in actually a symphony or orchestra? Yes. Should I talk about the fact? The answer is going to be yes. If you've done something in high school, I want to know about it. Right, Ole? I want to know about it. So Ole says yes. Make sure you add everything you've done during the 4 years of high school. Ole said so. All right, I've got lots of questions, so let me go back and answer some of those for you. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Question number, good one. Are there jobs on campus? I've been working at my high school, and I want to know if I can do that at UCSB. The answer is yes. There are definitely places in the application right here where it says if you have work experience, you can talk about having a job. Now, I don't know your hometown, so if you have a specialty, if you're in an internship, I want you guys to really elaborate on what you've done. I really, really, really am not going to call you, and I'm not going to Google you, and I'm not going to ask, oh, well, I wonder what that was all about. You have to share it with me without my prompting, guys. So please don't make my job harder, and don't be hard on yourself by not sharing something. I asked myself all these questions like, okay, well, why did she do volleyball for freshman year, not sophomore year, and then she came back junior year? Okay, so why is there only 2 weeks of this club and 2 weeks of that club? Okay, well, why did she end? I ask a lot of questions in my head. I just don't ask them to you. And I go to the personal statement to hopefully find those answers. So the personal statement is not an essay. It is not an essay. It is not an essay. The personal statement happens to be your interview with us. 2 mandatory questions that you have to answer, and then a 3rd question, which is called additional comments. That additional comments is optional. 1,000-word limit on the 2 mandatory questions, an extra 550 words in the additional comments section. It's about content. I don't grade your writing style. I don't care about the structure. There are so many things in the personal statement that you should know about. Every one of us reads the same personal statement. So if you're applying to me, to Davis, to San Diego, to Irvine, you don't get to send a different response to each of us. It's one application. I get a copy of that. So make sure that when you're working on your application, the 3 words are in your head: clarity, depth, and context. Can I really showcase what I've done? Have I given the detail? Well, the Dons Award, because Dons are my mascot in high school, the Dons Award is given to the top 3 graduating seniors based on teacher recommendation. Ooh, you go, girl. Ooh, I'm excited. Now there's a context for what you've earned. Get it? Clarity, depth, context. Details, details matter, people. Details, details matter, people. One more time. Details, details matter, people. So make sure that you give me those details. All right. Let's see. Next question. Is difficulty of high school factored into the review process? So Kyle, no, I'm not going to be looking at the fact that your high school is harder than the high school across the way. I will look at your high school. I will look at what they offer. So for example, for those of you saying I'm in the IB program, is that going to be weighted differently? The fact that your high school offers IB is not going to be a factor. It's the fact that you took IB because your high school offered it. That's the factor. And I do have a question about IB, so let me answer that. What is the grade for students who took the IB diploma? So at Santa Barbara, if you're doing the IB diploma, the higher level classes will be weighted in your GPA. Woohoo! And then what's going to happen is at the end of senior year, your IB testing, a 30 or better, and I automatically give you 30 college credits. Woohoo, right? That's awesome. 34 credits and you're a sophomore. So for those of you doing the diploma, you've essentially finished a year of college. Congratulations, all the hard work paid off. Excuse me. So someone asked, what's a pretty ACT score? 36, but I know that that's not going to happen for every single student. It doesn't happen for every single student. So high 20s. Last year, our average ACT with writing was a 28. All right. What was the acceptance rate to music in 2014 in the College of Creative Studies? So Jennifer, I don't have that off the top of my head. I apologize. But I will tell you this. I don't have a quota. So for students who are applying to my music composition program, my music faculty, if they don't find anyone they love that they want to mentor, they won't enroll anyone in that particular program. They'll roll you over to music theory or music performance. For Santa Barbara, there are actually 3 music majors: music theory, music performance, music composition. Music performance does require an audition, people. I also have a minor in music, so lots of music. Did I mention I have 16 ensemble groups through the music department as well? The orchestra, the symphony, jazz, ensemble, so many options in that regard. Okay. Are there extracurricular activities that correlate to your major? Are they a plus? Good question. So I won't know that they correlate to your major, and I may not understand that they correlate unless you draw the lines for me. And that's, again, the clarity, depth, and context coming into play. So what are these personal statement questions so that you can give me all this information? Well, question number 1 is to describe the world you come from. How has your world shaped your dreams and aspirations? Question 2 is to talk about a personal quality, a talent, an accomplishment, something you're proud of, and why you're proud of it. These are very broad, open-ended questions, right, for my freshman students. Transfer students, you have to answer 2 questions as well. Question number 1 is to talk about your intended major. I will repeat, I'm not really going to read this for my transfer students at UCSB. Fill it out, work on it, take it seriously, but it's not really a factor at Santa Barbara. For my freshmen, this is a huge part of your evaluation. Remember, 50% is non-academic, and the personal statement is part of that 50%. So the more you can talk about yourself, the more excited I get in the admissions process. Now, what that means is Well, there are definitely some safety topics in the personal statement. Things about you, your leadership, if you've had a hardship, things about you outside of the classroom, describing a disability that you've lived with, and that's a physical or a learning disability. Talking about your culture, explaining who you are and what you've done. Literally, my friends, these are safe topics. Go ahead and answer them. But I will say this about how you write your personal statement is oftentimes the scariest part of reading it, because you oftentimes will think of it as an essay. It's not an essay. It's not an essay. It is not an essay. Oh, no, 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 my friends. The personal statement is an opportunity for me to get to know you. So please avoid the following. Don't be campus specific. Don't tell me that your entire life you've wanted to go to UC blah, 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 when I'm not that school. And in fact, even if you tell me you want to go to UC Santa Barbara, I can't use that in my selection process. I already think I'm your first choice because I'm very selfish that way. Okay, creative writing. Don't like it. No, 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 no. I don't like creative writing because it detracts from the message. That means analogies, metaphors, scene, setting. Oh, my athletes are the worst offenders. Sorry, athletes. I know that there's a few of you out there, but do I care that your knuckles were digging into the gravel at the starting line as your knees wobbled and the sun hit your neck during the Thursday afternoon track meet? No, I don't care. Tell me instead why that's important. Is it that you were running and the sun got in your eye, you tripped, you fell, and because of that you've been out of track for a year? Okay, just say it. I don't need to be in the moment with you. Also note that if you have to look the word up to use it, I might have to look the word up to understand it. I'm not looking anything up, people. Remember that while it's great to be personable, to put your personality out there, sometimes if you want to entertain me, I don't need to be entertained. I need to get to know you quickly and concisely. So if you're running around in circles trying to talk to me to show me how pretty your writing is, as opposed to just going, I believe, I dream of, I desire, my, and getting to the facts, you're wasting spikes. You're wasting my time. Okay, I see more questions, and I see some people really confused. Do you have a PowerPoint copy of this presentation on your website? Yes, we do. This is actually a copy of our personal statement webinar, a few changes here and there, but students can find it off of our presentation page and our YouTube channel. Okay. Jennifer, ha ha ha, thanks. What if you get rejected from UCSB, but you get into CCS? So you'll actually find your admission to both UCSB and the college you applied to at the same time. So it's not like they're not supposed to be talking independently. If you get admitted to the music program, it's because you passed the audition. They'll let us know, we'll let you know, etc. Okay. Someone asked, you talked about international baccalaureate. What about advanced placement exams? So advanced placement exams with the 3, 4, or 5 will earn you college credit at the moment. So congratulations for those of you who've passed an AP exam. Realize that you want to report all exams you've taken in the application. You also want to make sure that seniors, you tell me about the exams you're planning to take. That's right. I want to know about how you're going to challenge yourself at the end of senior year. Don't forget about the spring sports, spring's community service projects, spring musicals, all of those things you do at the end of senior year. I know they haven't happened yet, but I want to know that you're planning to do many of these things. Matthew, what is the minimum GPA for a Canadian student? Matthew, anyone outside of the United States, anyone outside of California is looking for a minimum 3.4 on a 4.0 scale. So a high B average for me, please. All right, and that is for freshman applicants. People, the last thing to remember about the application is that I'm not a magician. I can't read your mind. Really, the application is meant for you to showcase yourself. And yes, I've said it before, you can brag about yourself. You just really need to make sure that a stranger gets to know you. And this is not the time to worry about, is this something that's embarrassing? This is not the time to worry that, oh, well, my grammar's not the best. This is just the time to put it all out there. the admissions office and all of my colleagues, we really want to like you. We think of the application process as additive. I'm always wanting to give students credit. We never take away credit for what you could have done but chose not to do. We never take away credit if you did something we don't like. So for those of you who play football, I don't care about football, whatever, football. Now soccer, soccer, I love, actually, in about 30 minutes, UCSB's men's soccer team starts their season, so I'm excited. Well, that's a bias, right? Kuka doesn't like American football. She likes world football. So if I play American football, she's not going to like me. No, no, honey. I'm not allowed to do that, first of all. And again, it's an additive process. I always want to give you credit for what you've done. You just have to tell me what you've done. So if it's, I was the first freshman to make the varsity squad, credit. If it's, I'm team captain, credit. I'm team captain responsible for fundraising for our school uniforms, credit. Every detail counts as long as you share it with me, people. All right, I want to make sure you have your timeline because, the hour is getting late, so I want to make sure you have this information. So first of all, the application is open now for the class of 2015, but the submit button is not there. No. You cannot submit until November 1st through November 30th. Any day in November is fair game, guys. We don't have early action, we don't have early decision, so any day in November. When you say I'm applying to the University of California and you mark Santa Barbara, I'm going to get a copy of that application. And my office, we're going to work really diligently to read every single student at least twice. That's right, twice. For Santa Barbara last year, 67,000 freshman applications were read at least twice. So that means we spent a lot of time. That's why we don't talk to you until March. It's not because we want to stress you out. That's just a fun part. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it is. No, I'm just kidding. It's not because we want to stress you out. It's because it takes us that long to read every application and to really give you the credit you deserve. You're going to pay me $70 to read your application, so I'm going to spend some time to go through it and get everything I can. Now, we hopefully will see your application, and when we hopefully admit you, you're going to find that in March we notify you of that decision. Either you're going to get admitted, you might find yourself on a wait list, or unfortunately some people will get denied. The students who are admitted, you have until May 1 to say yes or no to our offer of admission. For students who are admitted, I'm also going to commit myself to saying that a week after you're admitted, no later than April 1st, we're also going to give you your financial aid award letter. My financial aid office is amazing. I mean, amazing. They work Saturdays, they work late nights, they are constantly working to make sure that you have all of your answers. So just a quick plug, we will be doing Financial Pay for College Day on College Week Live, and financial aid staff will be here in January to answer your questions. Okay, back on track. So for my students who are admitted, I'm going to automatically consider my admitted students for merit scholarships. That's something that we've decided at UCSB. We're not going to make you apply for a scholarship, for a merit scholarship. Instead, we're going to automatically review that. But all the other types of aid, work study, grants, loans, all those other things, need-based scholarships, they're triggered off of the FAFSA submission for any U.S. resident or citizen. So you need to file that FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid, no later than March 2nd. No later than March 2nd. No later than March 2nd. For Santa Barbara, if you're admitted again, you have until May 1. And if you choose to enroll, welcome to the family. I was so excited because today is the first day of class for the fall quarter at UCSB. And I'm seeing all of my cute freshmen walking around, excited to be in class. And I hope that that's you next year. Okay. So here's a few things. As I said, January, we're going to have our financial aid staff answering questions. We want you to come visit campus. If you've never stepped foot on UCSB's campus, you probably don't know how beautiful it is. You probably don't know that we're a very, very eco-friendly campus. You probably don't know that there are 15,000 bikes on 7 miles of bike path. So students don't usually need a car. You can bring one, you just don't need one. They need a bike, a skateboard, or a good pair of shoes. So I want you guys to be able to ask that kind of question of a current student. So come visit if you have a chance. Monday through Friday, year-round, and then Saturdays in April, we have walking tours through the Visitor Center. And then our big open house is Saturday, April 11th. You'll find the link to register for any of our walking tours on UCSB's admissions website. Okay, that was a lot of information from me, so I see that you have still a lot of questions. Let me go back and answer some of those for you, shall I? All right. Do band students who are in their high school band program get preference into the university? No. Just because you're in your high school band doesn't mean you get preference. What it means is, for admissions purposes, you're going to find yourself giving me a really hopefully clear picture of what band means. Is it that you're just doing a few little symbols like this and it's a group of people on a lawn? Or is it competitive? You travel to 12 different festivals during the year, you fundraise for your own costumes and transportation. Like, tell me what that means. In the admissions process, the more I know, the more credit I give you. When it comes to any of our ensemble groups, you will have to audition though. Okay, Ramin, are subject tests necessary for students who want to go into engineering? They're not required. Subject tests are not required. They are recommended for engineers, and it's the math level 2 that's recommended. If you don't take it, I promise it will not hurt your admission. I just like to see the math proficiency for my students. Okay, let's see. Siyomada is asking, does the personal statement weigh heavily on the decision of our acceptance into UCSB? Well, it's definitely going to be weighted into the acceptance because it's 50% of our review, but it can't hurt you. So if you spend 1,000 words talking about how pretty butterflies are and how butterflies are just magical creatures, then no, it's not going to be a big part of your admission because you haven't really given me anything to really learn about you, but I'm going to learn about butterflies. So I want you to think about this. The personal statement is meant to help put clarity, depth, and context to the stranger reading your application. Use it as such. Okay, let's see. My dear friend is asking, if your GPA was low during your sophomore year, but it picked up seriously in your junior year because you took advanced placement and community college courses, will that be viewed positively or negatively? Good question. So first thing, it will be your sophomore and junior year together for freshman admission that will be calculating your GPA from. So if you had a really rocky sophomore year, that could have dragged down your GPA. For students who are not yet in senior year, realize this. You can retake any courses, and if you retake them before your senior year because you failed them, and a failing grade is a D or an F, if you retake a D or an F, we'll replace the passing grade into your GPA. So that's something I just have to make note of. But for students who want to show progression, from freshman year to sophomore year, your grades went from C's to B's. So from sophomore year to junior year, they went from B's to A's. Yeah, I want to know that. And no, I'm not automatically going to see that. So make sure that you highlight that in additional comments for me. Additional comments are also a great place for students to talk about magnets, academies, for you to describe activities that, I may not have a context for you to give me small little tidbits. It could be bullet points of information or it could be full sentences, but realize additional comments, 550 extra words. Use them. Okay. Siyomada is asking, how diverse is UCSB? Oh, that's a good question. I am very excited to report that UC Santa Barbara this year, we have 25% of our student body which identifies as Chicano Latino. So we are officially a Hispanic serving institution, in my eyes at least. We'll file paperwork for that hopefully this year. But about 25% of our students are Chicano Latino, 24% of our students classify themselves as Asian or Pacific Islander. You've got about 4% of our students who are Black or African American, 43% of our students are white or Caucasian, and then you've got about 1% of our student body who's American Indian or Alaskan Native. So I think it's pretty diverse. All right, Eric, what is your essay prompt? Is it the same for all UC campuses? So I did showcase the prompts. I'll go back and show them to you. And yes, it's one application, so you have to answer them for all the UCs in that one particular box. That's the personal statement. And no, you can't change them for each UC campus, so make sure that you're very general in that regard. All right, is there a minimum SAT score for admission, Sarah asks. And the answer is no. I have a minimum GPA, and your GPA and your SAT scores weigh out against each other. So the lower your GPA, the more pressure I'm going to put on your SATs and vice versa. So make sure that, one, you're showcasing if you're a bad test taker, you're showcasing if you're a bad student, you're giving me examples of why I might see something that I don't like, and you're classifying what happened. You know, I had mono and I was actually out for 3 months, so my grades suffered. Explain all of those details, people. I'm not going to hold it against you unless I don't know about it. And then I'm going to go, why? And I don't see an answer. I'm going to go, okay, and then move on. Okay. Is there co-ed dorming? Someone asks. Well, the first thing to note is that UC Santa Barbara has a 4-year housing guarantee. That's right, 4 years of housing. For my freshmen, that's freshman and sophomore year in the residence halls, junior and senior year in the apartments. For my incoming transfer students, you actually tell me, do I want to live in the residence halls? Do I want to live in the apartments? You have a 2-year housing guarantee, and you can rank between the apartments and the residence halls. I'm not going to lie, the majority of transfer students don't want to hang out in the dorms with freshmen, so they tend to be in the apartments. The beauty of UCSB is that 5 of our 8 residence halls are oceanfront property, and when students move off campus, they tend to go into our college community of Isla Vista. Isla Vista, half a mile of just gorgeous, gorgeous oceanfront property, and about 14,000 students within that mile radius. So about 80% of UCSB students are walking, biking, or skateboarding distance to campus. Let's see, a student says, I have taken the SAT 3 times. Do you take the highest or average them out? So the University of California will, as a policy, use the highest single day total score in your admission. I cannot superscore, people. I cannot superscore. So make sure that you add the single day total into your review. I've got 540 on the SAT math. Will I get accepted to engineering? For a student who asked that question, I don't know, because it's a factor, it's not the only factor. I will say that 540 is a little bit on the low side for the math in the College of Engineering, so you have until December of your senior year, my friends. Study, study, study. Okay. So I have more questions here. So how expensive is it to live off campus in Santa Barbara? Well, Santa Barbara is a pretty expensive community as a whole. I mean, hello, my neighbor is Oprah. Do you think she's paying a cheap rent? Not at all. So when it comes to Santa Barbara, yeah, you're going to find some expensive housing. So many of our students actually don't live alone. They're going to live with multiple friends, and that makes it about the same cost as living on campus. The difference is that the rent that you're going to see quoted off campus doesn't include electricity, it doesn't include food, and our on-campus housing does include that. Our students who live in the residence halls, 4 dining commons, some good food, my friends, pasta, salad bar, hot entrees, freshly baked cookies, there's a sushi bar, there's a Mongolian grill. I mean, it's gourmet, my friends. And Santa Barbara is all about sustainability. It's about healthy lifestyle and living. So what's really cool in the dining commons is you're going to see them cook your food. So they're chopping the vegetables before they put it on the stir fry. You're going to see them pulling out the pasta from the hot water before they go into the sauce, before it goes onto your plate. And you're also going to note that over 30% of our food is local. It's grown in farms right around Santa Barbara. It's organic. There are vegan, there are vegetarian options. So really cool that our students have such a healthy lifestyle. I'm very proud of them that way. Okay. Let's see, more questions that are coming in, and some of them I've already answered, so excuse me as I scroll through these. Does the major you apply to affect your chances for admission? So the answer, in the College of Engineering, yes, it will be a factor. Outside of the College of Engineering, no. 1 in 4 of our current freshmen is undeclared. So for the College of Letters and Science, I guarantee you your major is not a factor. But I want you to tell me if you're a science major so that you have classwork, okay? Angie is asking, would it affect my chances of getting into a UC if I drop Spanish 3? No, Spanish 3 is fine if you take it, if you don't, because it's not a requirement. 2 years of language other than English is the requirement, and it seems you've met that already. Pero si no quieres hablar en español, ¿cómo vas a entender si no tomas español 3, mi amiga? ¿Cómo? Right? I love this. This is fun. All right. How much does class rank matter at admissions? I don't ask about class rank, so it doesn't matter. Yay, you're welcome. Okay. Jennifer's asking, is it too cliche to write about your passion? Is your intended major for a personal statement? So Jennifer, here's how I want to ask this question to you now. What about your passion is important? So if you're going to tell me that you're passionate about the environment and environmental studies is your major, okay, well, I'm going to ask, what about your passion have you done? What's tangible? Is it that you're part of Earth Brigades? Is it that you started a club on campus to do recycling and compost? Those are tangibles, and that will help you get into UCSB. The fact that they're related to your major is great, but again, I don't admit by major in the College of Letters and Science, so it wouldn't be the factor that you got into environmental studies. It would just be by default since you asked for it. Hopefully that made sense. All right. Angie is asking, what do you explain about bad grades? You explain bad grades in the additional comments section, my friends. Let's see, do you have to rank the UC campuses you applied to? No, you do not rank us. We think we're your first choice, even though we saw you applied to all 9 of us. Think about the UC application as just a great, easy, one-step process, but each of the 9 campuses read your application independently. What do the majority of the UCSB students major in? Noah. Well, as I said, 1 in 4 freshmen is undeclared, but after that, we have 10 biology majors, so of course biology is huge at UCSB. We have about 1,300 undergraduate students in engineering in the 5 programs. We're known for computer science and our hacking skills, so go international hacking competition. You're also going to find that we have a strong, solid psychology program with biopsych and psychology as the 2 majors in that one. I love our communication program. It's well respected. It's internationally known. I love my philosophy department as well. Even though it's a really small program, it's a great major. So lots of options. Okay, let's see. Eric asked, do you require us to answer both personal statements? Yes, question 1 and question 2 must be answered as part of the UC application. Okay, so next question is, what is the diversity of African American students? So the answer to that one, about 4%. We love you, but remember, we can't use ethnicity. We cannot use race in our evaluation. So the fact that you're yellow, the fact that you're pink, the fact that you're purple, the fact that you're neon green does not have a factor in the admissions process. It's, are you the student who's going to be part of my admissions process, who is going to be successful on my campus? Are you going to be part of my education abroad program? That's what I want to know about. Are you going to be part of my leadership? That's what I want to know about, not your ethnicity. Sorry, I know that's sometimes not fair for people, but that's okay. Let's see. Community college classes, how are they weighted in the UC application? It's a great question. For students who've done dual enrollment, they've taken community college coursework as well as their high school coursework for transferable classes. Transferable classes will get the college credit if you enrolled in an accredited college or university. So for example, if I took algebra at my local community college because my high school wasn't offering it when I wanted it, no. Algebra is algebra. It's not transferable math. But if I took statistics, if I took Spanish, if I took philosophy, those classes are transferable. I will get credit for those. So good question. All right, here we go. Let's see. How challenging is it to get into your school, and what are the requirements as far as scores? This school is very interesting to me. So I'm excited that you're excited about UCSB. Again, I'm an alum. I love this campus. You're going to find alumni all over the world, over 180,000 gauchos out there in the universe doing good. Some of those students will find themselves really excited to scream and yell about all the things that they learned, like myself. So here's what I want you to know. In the admissions process, we don't use legacy. I'm sorry, I know that's really, really something students want to know about. We don't use legacy. We want to judge you on your own merit. So if it comes down to the admissions process going, what GPA score do I need, what SAT score, I'll go back to this slide and showcase that 50% of our admission is academic and 50% of it is non-academic. So for those of you who are thinking, well, my high school doesn't give extra credit for an AP or an IB class, it's just all straight. We calculate your GPA from sophomore and junior year. We're looking at grades and test scores together. One will not dictate your admission as a whole. All of these pieces will be looked at. Again, the more information you can give me, the better prepared I'll be to give you credit in our admissions review. Okay. Let's see, more questions have come in. You guys are just asking a lot. I'm so excited. Are there scholarships for music majors? Some of our music programs do offer scholarships, which is really great. Most of our scholarships are based off of the performance in the audition. So for those of you looking at the music major for performance, Santa Barbara has posted our dates. I believe our dates are Sunday, the 25th of January. I'm looking at my calendar really quickly, guys, so hold that thought. Sunday, the 25th of January, and then Saturday, the 31st of January. For those of you in the music performance major, those are the audition dates. You'll find them also linked off of the UC application. For those of you looking at some of our ensemble groups, a few of the ensembles have money attached to them. Not all of them, and actually the majority do not. So if you're looking to get a scholarship for band or a scholarship for orchestra, you're probably not going to find it, but you'll see a list of all of our ensemble groups on the music website, music.ucsb.edu. Okay. If I'm thinking pre-med or pre-dental, but my passion is dance, do I write about dance? So Kendall, if your passion is dance, I want you to put your dance major as your first choice and biology as your second choice at UCSB. You'll go through the audition process. The audition process for our dance major is late January, early February. If you get admitted into the dance major, you're going to do the dual program, which means you're going to major in a science and dance at the same time. Yes, that can happen in 4 years. My chemistry/dance major that graduated 2 years ago is awesome. She's amazing. She's actually doing physical therapy for dancers, which I thought was really cool and exciting. So in the admissions process, you want to talk about your love of both areas. Please, I encourage you to do so. Okay, so I answered Kendall's question. Let me go back and see. Can you say hi to my cousin Tiffany Del Paz? Hello, cousin Tiffany. Unless she's a UCSB student here, I don't really know her, but yes, hello, cousin Tiffany. Let's see. Eric asked a question. The essay prompts, I want to know if I've got a disability, should I talk about it? Yeah, definitely. So the hard part in the admissions process is that I often want to call you guys and go, tell me more. Or you might want to tell me about something like I'm dyslexic. And you spend so much time describing dyslexia that you forget to actually tell me about your life with dyslexia or your life with that disability. So for those of you who are going to share a disability, I hope you share a disability with me in the context of you living with it and less about trying to educate me on the cause. Tell me about your role, your life, how you've learned from it. Please, 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 please. I guarantee you it is not going to hurt you in any way, shape, or form in the admissions process. All right. So are there music scholarships in composition? Jennifer, I don't believe so, but go to the CCS website, ccs.ucsb.edu, so I don't want to lie to you on air. Next question. What was the acceptance rate for computer science majors? I don't have that information. I apologize, but if you want to email me those types of questions, here's what I really want you to know. If your first choice is computer science, put computer science. If you're like, I like computer science, but I could be okay with history, make your second choice your alternate major at UCSB, undeclared, history, something else, with the knowledge that yes, computer science, computer science, engineering, those are selective programs at UCSB. Everything else is fair game for us. All right, guys, we are literally just 1 minute away from ending. So I want to make sure that I give those last questions out there that I haven't answered. Stephanie, what does it mean to be on a wait list exactly? So for admissions purposes, the University of California, all 9 campuses will use a wait list for our freshman students. And a wait list means I really want you on my campus. I just don't know if I have space for you. So for Santa Barbara, what we're going to do is we're going to look at students from our wait list after May 1st. If we haven't met the number of freshmen we want to enroll, we will go to our wait list and we'll give those students an opportunity first and foremost. So ladies and gentlemen, I know that that was a lot of information to share with you. I thank you all for asking tons of questions. I was so excited. So on behalf of Olay and Olay, my friends, I want to say, please, 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 please come visit. Remember that when it comes to UCSB, we want you on our campus. We want you to be part of our Gaucho family. And as such, we hope that you'll follow us on our social media and ask us the questions that we didn't get a chance to answer on our Facebook or on our Twitter account. So on behalf of Olay and all my colleagues in the Office of Admissions, I want to say go Gauchos, and I want to remind you guys that for the admissions process, November 1st through 30th is there, but we're with you for the entire year. So ask questions, come get involved on our campus. Make sure that for those of you who are rising seniors, you look at our summer programs, and irregardless of where you choose to enroll, you're all part of the Gaucho family. So with that, ole, 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 Gauchos, Gauchos, ole, 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 Gauchos, Gauchos, go Gauchos!